100 items or less. Could you get through your life if you only had 100 items or less? Now, there's a lot of people who say in third world countries, some people are lucky just to have a few pieces of clothing, maybe a bowl and a spoon, maybe to have a little hut to live in. And if they're really lucky, they might have an old bicycle or something. And that might be true, you know. But in the modern day, here in the United States of America, here in Australia, in the United Kingdom, through most of Europe, can you seriously tell me that the average person only has 100 items or less? Because this is what is trending right now in the minimalist movement. This idea that you are some type of hero or someone to be praised if you can get all your material ownership down to 100 items or less. And I just want to make a statement here that, and I've said this in different ways a few months ago, but I didn't get a lot of people watching that video, so I'm trying again. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. This is not just about me and my thoughts or my comments on this video. I definitely want to hear what you have to say about extreme minimalism. Because I personally don't think owning more than 100 items is the problem in this world. I think when you have people who actually limit their resources on purpose, and they don't include things to get them through hard times, like they're not prepared people. Let me just say that. They're typically like some type of liberal, new age, hippie type of persons from what I've seen that are not responsible people. They're more of a problem in society than a help. And so while it's a publicly acceptable thing to think that materialism is bad, if you don't have certain tools to do certain jobs, then you're out of luck. Now, I went through a lot of these lists of these so-called minimalists, and they're very proud of their list. They want to show their list of 100 items or less. They want to show you that they can put it all in a backpack and they can actually carry on their back everything they own. A lot of them are very proud of that. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that either, but what I can tell you is after looking at these lists, and I think I only looked at maybe like 20, 22, something like that, between 20 and 22 lists. And it was a very popular list. They're all very recent lists, like they're only either a few days old or going no more than a few months old. But I can tell you that I saw not one list that included a firearm for personal protection or for hunting or for recreational use, not one pocket knife, not one multi-tool, not one metal container to boil water. I only saw one out of all those lists that had even a lighter. Only one person had the means to make fire. I didn't see any bandanas, no shamogs. I didn't see anything that really stood out. I mean, not even one of them even had boots. They had just basically running shoes. Let me tell you, these people, when there's a problem or a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, they don't have any resources to fall back on. They don't have any food supply that's cached away, There's no cache, of water, of medicine. They don't have anything. They have nothing but what other people would give them because they're minimalist. And they say, but they feel so free. They feel so alive because they don't have stuff holding them down. Well, guess what? Some of that stuff will keep you alive. And I think that, totally to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I'm just telling you that how I feel, that they're a bunch of idiots. And you don't want to follow these people. You do not want to follow people like this. These people are dangerous. These are dangerous people. It's the same thing with these people that are living in these little tiny homes. These little 49 square foot or even smaller little tiny dwellings on trailers that are parked in the middle of the field, and they're supposed to be so eco-friendly. And you know what? From the outside looking in, they're kind of cool and unique. And you're like, that's not the worst thing, right? But what happens if there's a storm? That they have, high winds? What about a tornado? Well, they don't exist anymore. They died. I'm sorry. There is a point that you have to be realistic. And so, there's a fairy tale that's being told in the world right now that the less stuff you have and the more that you get closer to living in a cardboard box, the better you are for yourself and others. And that's a lie. That is a lie. And that's coming from the left. That's a liberal propaganda. That's a hippie trend of a new age thought. Those people are the ones that are being knocking on our doors asking for food and shelter when the crap really hits. And I'm just kind of getting fed up with a lot of these people who come to my channel and tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, or materialism is from the devil, and I got it all mixed up. That I don't know what I'm doing. Let me tell you, you don't have a clue what you're doing, because you're not doing anything. And this has been an ongoing problem all through history. The prepared survive and get on with it. Those who don't, they perish. That's just being real blunt. And so let's just remind ourselves that there's always going to be people who live in a fantasy land. Don't join those kind of people. You have to be responsible for yourself and your family. If not, if you can't take care of yourself and family, then you are a burden on your family, and more particularly like your extended family or those who live around you, like your neighbors, and your community, your city or town or whatever it is you live in. Because you're going to be asking for handouts, and you're going to be stressing the infrastructure that much more. You're going to stress it out. So you have the God-given ability of forethought, right? And reasoning, and hopefully you have a little common sense. Why don't you use it? Most of my viewers do use it. And that's why I get along with you guys so well. But there's a lot of people who really are trying to join this movement of this ultra hyper extreme minimalism to get down to 100 items or less. And the things they have in that list are like goofy electronics, goofy types of clothing that wouldn't be that advantageous. They wouldn't even hold up over a long term. They don't have any real tools, if any at all. They live in a bubble, And this, my friends, is something that we're going to continue to see younger generations, unfortunately. And I love people of all ages, but I just see a lot of young people caught up in this ideology that to own things is not the right thing to do. And this is crap. To own land is one of the definitions of being an American. To own land, to be a free person, to own and run your own business if you choose so, to be educated and so forth. These are why we prosper as Americans than other countries. So it's very sad to see our youth brainwashed to think that if you have certain capabilities, that you're misled. They're the ones that are misled, and they're the ones who have no ability to overcome the challenges that will or may come to them. And I hope and wish that them all the very best, but they need to wake up. They need to wake up and realize that they are not prepared. And they will have major problems down the road. And that's why I do things on this channel like this little series that we're in the middle right now, talking about protocols, common sense protocols of how to deal with various types of emergencies. It's very basic, but you'd be so surprised of the people who have heard or know of very little of these protocols. And so we have to sometimes go back to basics. We have to remind ourselves and other people around us that there needs to be a plan. And if you just live always in the moment, and I love living in the moment, I try to do that as much as I possibly can after I plan for the future in case something happens, just because I want to be responsible. And we don't have to live in the future or sit there every day and plan. But maybe a few hours a month is all we're talking about. Just like when you go to the grocery store, for example, just getting a few extra items can mean life and death in some scenarios. It is just amazing how little sometimes it takes to either overcome a challenge or not overcome it. And so when you have trendy liberals and this new age hippie movement spout out all this garbage, and they act like they know more than our ancestors, I'm going to have to say they live in their own reality. And their reality can come crashing down at any time. And then they're going to have to actually face the real reality. And guess who's there? You and I. And since we live in that real reality, we're going to have to educate them. So, hey, instead of waiting to that point to educate them, let's educate them now. That's why I'm doing this channel at this moment. So join me. Share your comments. Share your comments about this and about how you help other people become more aware, what you do to prepare, what your thoughts are on this minimalist movement, how crazy all this is. Thanks for your support. You guys take care.